In this video, I will show you how to create Verse custom countdown timer with option to stop and restart it, plus trigger the effect when countdown reaches 0 and change timer numbers in UI into another text. So let's get started. Let's first prepare everything for our code. So we need user interface, widget blueprint, user widget. Let's call it timer. Open it. We don't need anything fancy here. Canvas and then text block. I will take text block and I will anchor it in the center of top. 0.5. More about widgets and how to work in the widget blueprints, you can look in one of the videos where I cover a lot of stuff of this. Okay, so now we have text. Let's maybe make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Size to content. How it looks on the screen, maybe just a little bit more bigger so it's visible for you in the video. And I will offset it vertically, just like that. And that's it. So now we need binding. I think it's this one. Going back to binding. When our text block selected, we will see it here. And we just need text. Arrow to the left, it shows that it goes into the widget. And we need hot message device and text. Nothing else we need to do here. I want drop to trigger devices. Yeah, visible in the game. Enable on the game start. I want triggered by the player. Anything else we don't need. Yeah, we can have the effect, so we know that we definitely triggered that. And that's it. Okay, so now we need hot message device, which will actually show our message. Go back to our widget. Oh, search. There it is, timer. So now it's in here. I will show on a round start, so I don't need to trigger that. This is delay. When level, for example, starts and 10 seconds will pass until we will see this on our screen. We don't need that. Then show for duration, it's only 5 seconds and then it disappear. Again, we don't need that. We want it to always stay there. Placement, it's a custom. And I will just choose center full. So layer 0, I don't have any more layers. That's fine. That's fine. Last thing, I will add VFX spawner. Yeah, fireworks fine. And enabled on face, I will disable it. So I want to trigger it later. So when countdown reaches 0, we will trigger this V effect. And now we can do some coding. So in the Verse Explorer, add new Verse file. We'll call it countdown timer. Oops. Timer device. Yep. Create. If I will double click this countdown timer device, we have it here. We can delete this. We don't need. And we can delete that for now. Okay, so now we need to add option to get references for these devices in the level. So we use editable Let's start with a hot message device. Let's say main hot of type hot message device equal hot message device curly brackets. Then we have triggers. So let's call it start countdown, type of trigger device equal trigger device curly brackets. Let's for now put block here to remove error. We can copy this one because it's another trigger device and just call it stop countdown trigger device. Okay, and we have a V effect, so we can call it editable. Let's call it celebration V effect of type V effect spawner. Spawner device equal effect spawner device curly bracket. Okay, when we have that, let's save it. And now if we build this code, let's come back here, creative devices, and we can drag and drop. We can select now main hot, our hot message device, start countdown, stop trigger, and V effect, and save. Let's go back in code. Now, if we want to give option to someone to set minutes and seconds for the timer, but not go inside of the code, maybe someone in your team doesn't know coding, we would want to expose it maybe here. It's super simple to do. Again, we'll do editable. Let's call it timer minutes of type integer, and for now it's at 0. Same for the seconds. (20 seconds). And to display everything on the hood as it's set in the documentation, we need to add extra line here. Let's call it countdown timer to UI. This is my name. You can name it as you like. Okay, now it's localizes brackets countdown timer text. It's again, this is my name. You can name it as you like, of type string. Then in here we're adding computes. Such equal curly brackets, and we're repeating countdown timer text. Now we can begin write our countdown function. So on countdown timer. First, I want to create separate variables for minutes and seconds, because basically on the loop I will be changing them, but same time when they will reach 0, I want to restart, and I want them pick up this initial timer minutes and timer seconds. So I don't want to override this. We'll create variable minutes of type integer equal timer minutes. Same for the seconds. Type integer equal timer seconds. Because we're looping, I don't want it go forever, so it means it will go to the minus. I want to stop at some point. And easy way to stop loop is basically with true or false logic variable. So let's create here variable break loop type logic equal false. So I want that our loop, this function start with a false. And because another trigger can set it to true, but then on stop trigger, right? Stop countdown. Start countdown needs to start it. So I want just make sure that when someone calls this function, it starts always with a false. So break loop equal false. Instead variable, we need set break loop false. Now we can start our loop. Let's add sleep 1 second, because I want to loop every second, and because we're doing sleep, we're pausing our function. What we need to add here is suspense. And now if seconds are larger or equal to 1, I want set seconds to minus equal 1. Basically, we're looping, right? So it's like 59, 58, and it's like 1. 1 is the lowest, because what we're doing here is we're taking seconds, how many seconds we have, then we're subtracting 1, and we're assigning back what we have after subtraction. And now we're saying else, and else it means it's below 1, right? So it means 0, maybe even lower. In our case, it will be just 0. So else, what we want is to check our minutes as well. So minutes more than 0. And we're doing same. Set minus to minus equal 1. Set seconds equal 59. So we're checking seconds, and if it's seconds now 0, then we're going to check minutes. So it means, let's say if it was like 1:10, 1:09, right? Now it's 1 second, and now it's 1:0. Now we're checking if we're above 0 on the minutes. So if it's 1 minute, so we're setting it to 0, so we're subtracting 1, we're setting it to 0 minutes, and we're restarting our seconds. So again, 59, 58, right? And if it's not above the 0, so it means it already was 0, now we want to stop, right? So seconds now will be on a 0, and minutes on a 0, so it means that's it. Our countdown reached 0. So now we're setting it else break loop to true. We're looping, right? And we have this break loop on the false, and now we're setting it to true. So on the loop, when loop will check, is it true or false? Is it true now? So then stop. And when it's reached 0, I want it to restart. So I will call same function again. Oh, timer. But as you can see, we don't have checking yet in this loop. Is this true or false? So we just only set it to true, but it's actually a loop. Automatically it's not checking it. So now what we need is add on the main, on the starting loop, we need to add this checkup. So if break loop question mark. So we're checking, is it true or false? And if it's true, then basically break. So this is only counting, and this is already working. Now we want to display this in our hot message device. I want to add 2 options. In the timers, we see minutes, and then seconds are like 09, 08, 07, right? But in this case, it will be just 9, 8 without this 0 in front. So we're doing if seconds are larger or equal to 10. Yeah, so 10 is a final, because 10 is still 2 digits. We're doing hot message of type string equal curly brackets, and will be minutes. And seconds. And now in here, we sending now this to our main hood. So main hood dot set text. I need this name. Countdown timer to UI. Now again brackets. And just hood message. If you would want display without having this 0 in front of the single digit, then you don't need this if, you just need this. Otherwise, I'm just doing if and then else. I'm just copying same thing because nothing is changing here apart. Before seconds, I'm just adding 0. And that's it. So this way we will display our timer in our widget. So now we can subscribe, so basically listen to trigger devices. So when triggering event happens, start, countdown, let's check what event it is, control click to get in here, Fortnite digest and see different events. Okay, so now paste here, dot subscribe. And in here, we need write function we will call when this event happens. So we don't have this function yet, but I will just say start count down, maybe event, just so it's not the same as this. And then stop count down. Mistake here. And was mistake here, count down. And again, trigger event. Subscribe. Down event. So now we can create these functions. We actually can just copy it. To start countdown, I will just call this function. So it gives us, let's look here better. So it gives us question mark agent, right? So it checks like if it's agent, maybe not agent. So we need here add same, receive agent, type question mark agent. And because we can't call from the normal function, suspense function, we can wrap it in spawn, curly brackets, like that. So for this one, we don't need anything else. Now for stop countdown event, again, agent of type question mark agent. Because we're stopping a loop with break loop true or false, so we doing set break loop to true. Let's now add the effect. So when we're finishing, we want trigger the effect. So let's create function for celebration. Where is our celebration the effect? And we just do enable, and that's it. So now when we're finishing this loop, we won't trigger the celebration v effect. But same time, if we will stop this countdown, right, with a trigger, it means it will still break and it will enable this v effect, what we don't want. So it's better to add it here, because we know that we finished all seconds and minutes here, and we're setting this true inside of our function, and then we're restarting this countdown. So same, we can add in here this call for celebration. This will work. What I will do now, so instead of like restarting whole this function, right, like countdown, I want to display custom text. So maybe like celebration time, right? If we will restart our countdown, so our timer will again go. But again, this will work, but I will comment it, so I'm not calling this countdown timer anymore. And on celebration, we'll celebrate. And in here, I can just add hold this thing. Like that. So hoot message device string, but instead minutes and seconds, we just write text like celebration time. So instead of again showing countdown from the beginning, we're stopping this countdown. We're showing this text, and then when we will step on a trigger, start countdown, it will trigger again from the beginning. Coming verse, build verse code, save. If we click on device, let's check, start countdown, we need to select again. Okay, and now I will just input maybe like 1:30. Okay, just to show that it works with minutes, not just only a few seconds. And I will just speed up my video so you can see it. Let's just save, and I will push my changes. And now we're back in the game. We'll step on it. We have our timer. We can stop it, or we can restart it again. And our final seconds. Celebration time. I hope this video is helpful to you. Please press that like button and don't forget to subscribe to get notifications about future videos. See you soon!